Well, Sheree, thank you so much for being with me today. This is the Travel Leader Podcast, and today I'm here with Sheree O'Reilly.
Yes.
And we are at the beautiful Beauport Hotel in Gloucester, Massachusetts. What a wonderful backdrop to be able to do this with you today.
Right.
And I was just saying that this is my first live interview.
That's exciting.
Yes, very exciting. And it's nice because then you're really getting that physical connection and getting to talk with each other.
I know.
And just to give some context, the reason we're here is that tomorrow we start Accelerate Women Leaders in Travel, which is a retreat I founded 4 years ago.
Wonderful.
And we have 70 women coming from around the region, all at leadership levels. And we're doing professional development workshops and
Love it.
connecting with people over meals and conversation. So thank you so much. You guys have been so generous.
Fun, right? Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah, it's going to be a wonderful event. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's great.
So if you could, by way of introduction, give a little of your background and what is the red thread in your career?
Okay, so my background is sort of a long story, so we might not want to go into all of that.
Sure.
But, I ended up leaving my background as a vice president with Marriott, and I was a troubleshooter. I would go into hotels, and then they were in trouble, and I would, break them down and start them up again. And so I traveled the world, and I did, I had a great career. And then in 1999, when they went to the franchise type of operations, I decided to move on, which was great because then I said, I'm so young, let me just start a business sort of as a hobby.
Yeah.
But it took off. So here I am today, and the red, thread of it all is I love hospitality.
Yes.
I love what I do. And I've always been in hospitality. I've never done anything else. I started with my dad and grandfather, and I've been blessed to love my career.
Wow. So it runs in the family?
Yes, it's in my family. My grandfather was the bellman at the Ritz-Carlton. My dad was the head bartender at the Ritz-Carlton in Boston, the old Ritz-Carlton. We're talking the 60s. And I had the pleasure of going to debutante school.
Oh my goodness.
And living there with my dad. So I got to really enjoy learning the hotel business in that year and a half. And that, of course I got my education and my hospitality and all that stuff.
Yes.
But my real education came from my dad and my grandfather.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
right.
You and I share a little in common there because I am fourth generation hospitality. My grandfather used to run the restaurants at the train stations in the Netherlands.
Great.
And my dad was actually born in an apartment above the train station in The Hague. He went to hotel school.
Love it.
He came to the United States. He met my mom, stayed here, and eventually he bought his own hotel in Vermont. And that's who I took our hotel over from.
So you learned housekeeping on an early age. That's what happened to me. I was cleaning rooms. I loved it.
Exactly.
So
I stood on a chair washing dishes.
Yes, me too. In the kitchen.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Plating up food. Oh,
yeah.
So much fun. Front desk. Oh, I just remember all, the young me and what I used to do.
Yeah.
Which is great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So what's the impact that you want to have on the hospitality industry that you love so much?
The impact. Okay, so my impact is to make hospitality a real thing. It was always thought about like, you're slinging the food back and forth, but it really isn't. It's making people happy. My business is a happy business. I walk into a wedding, it's all happy. Everybody's enjoying themselves, dancing and drinking and eating. In the dining room, the same thing. But in order to do that, you have to have your associates work at the best place they can work at and love their job and love who they work for. So that's a real big impact, I think, on hospitality.
Absolutely. So how do you create that happiness among your team?
Well, you know what? I have to go down here. the most important thing I do is I listen to and I respect my associates, especially the directors.
Yeah.
They're here today, in fact. I have 50 leadership people that work for me. I listen to them. I let them say what they need to say for the business and what they want in the business. And I listen with kindness and compassion. So, in other words, when I give my thoughts to them, I put myself in their shoes. Because it's hard for them to come to me sometimes. And I want them to feel comfortable. So I want to make a difference with them. And it's really not about this big, beautiful facility you're in now, which is absolutely gorgeous, right?
Right.
It's about the people that are sitting at that bar. It's about the people behind that bar.
Absolutely.
It's about the leadership team in the room right now listening to marketing, you know? So I feel like they make some great decisions, and I have to sit back and listen, where I think in my younger self, I would just do it all myself. So this came with years of wisdom, I think.
An experience.
An experience.
Yeah.
Of letting the people pause, letting me pause.
Yeah.
And letting my associates and my people have a say.
Yes.
And it's actually worked out well for me because I retain them, they're happy,
Yeah.
and also for the business because they have a lot of great ideas.
Absolutely. I love what you said about putting yourself in their shoes.
Yes.
And actually, the funny thing is, one of the workshops that we're doing this week is about empathy and empathy as a mindset. And I can see how you've created that as a really driving force of how you take care of your employees. So I'll have to use this example because
Yes.
we're really going to be talking about that mindset a lot over the next couple of days. So
And
what a great example.
And I love empathy. Empathy it's more of a mindset now, and you have to. I think you have to stop yourself and learn it. It's
Yes.
it's like a hobby or a task. In the morning, I have a routine.
Yes.
And I say, give me patience. I choose patience today. I choose kindness today. I choose empathy today. I choose compassion today. I choose goodness today.
Yes.
I choose self-control today. Whatever I want to say.
Yeah.
So every morning I choose positive reinforcement words that will help me through the day, because I know that there's somebody that's going to disagree with me, and I have to be on top of my game.
Right.
So-
It's creating a habit.
Right.
And being intentional about it.
And a routine, yes.
Yes, and a routine.
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
That's a great tip for anyone listening to
Right.
this, because sometimes we're human beings, right? So
We all are.
We are faulty and
Driven,
emotions can overcome us.
passion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
yeah.
have to kind of set yourself up for the day.
And that's one of the things, if I can interrupt you, as I teach my associates, is I want them to really listen, and I want them to have success with people. And in order to do that, they have to treat them in a way
Yeah.
that if you are on the attack, for instance, it's not gonna work. That's not
Right.
gonna work well.
No.
So choose your words, choose your actions.
Yeah.
Speak the language.
Yes.
You choose facts.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
drama and not gossip.
Not assumptions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So,
So speaking of your associates, how would they describe you as a leader?
well, I would hope they would say that I listen well and I respect them with kindness and compassion. If I give them my thoughts, I hope that they would say that they listen well, and they come across with a teaching type of thing.
Yeah.
And I try to be a mentor to them and not although I am a boss, not because I do have to say the no. But
Right.
I would rather be a mentor to them and teach them.
Yes.
And on a daily basis. I've had a lot of leadership with me for over 20 years.
Oh, wow.
So now it's to the point where I always say they put their arm in their sleeve and Sheree's hand comes out.
Yeah, that's such a great
So
saying.
I love it. So I've actually grown to the fact that I don't sit at home and worry. I sit at home and I know that they're doing their job.
Yeah.
And I know they're doing it in a great way.
Yes. Well, that's the sign. I have less years and experience under my belt, but as you evolve your leadership and you become more effective as a leader, that's one of the biggest rewards.
It is.
That you can leave.
Right.
And everything is going to be okay.
Everything's going to be. And also I try to teach them the power of pause.
Yeah.
So if something, say we're short of help in the dining room and things go awry, I say, we're not doing CPR here, we're serving food and beverage, right? But of course you want things to go well.
Yes.
So I say, do the power of pause. You're going to write that bad email, right?
Yeah.
Put it in a draft, read it the next morning. If you have to send it, send it. If you don't. Most of the time you don't send it.
Right.
Or you edit.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I'm like, power of pause, power of pause. I say that. I'm going to go in there and say it right after I speak to you.
Yes.
Let's have the power of pause, so that they learn, that I had to learn that myself, that I couldn't react.
Yes.
I had to step back.
Well, and that relates to, I'm connecting even with your morning routine of your mindset, that it's about mindfulness.
It is.
And just letting yourself just take a moment, really think through what you're about to say or what you're about to do. That's golden leadership advice for sure.
It took a long time.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You have to learn by example and by sometimes failures or mistakes.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Right.
So, let's rewind a little. When did you first know you were a leader?
This is going to sound a little bit, I'm very humble. I want to say that. I knew I was a leader, I want to say when I was born, because my dad and my grandfather, I was driven, and I had the passion of hospitality at 15.
Wow.
And so they pushed me into this driven role.
Yes.
I don't think it was what I am today, because back then it was more power driven.
Yes.
And also I was a woman, so I had to work harder than a man. So they instilled that into me. So I think I've always been a leader. I never thought of myself as anything else.
Yes.
Even before college.
Wow. And that is so, I've actually found in these interviews that is commonly the case.
Okay.
It's very interesting that people, there was a moment even as young as a child, when they're playing and during play activities in which there was that leadership that already was showing, from them. So that's very common. So, with that in mind, do you still think that leadership can be something that's developed and learned?
I do, because I've seen it with my associates. I've had, like, Lauren and Ray, for instance. They started with me as Lauren was a hostess. Now she's a director.
Yeah.
And so I think, she built up to this fantastic manager, then became a leader of the whole group,
Yes.
So I encouraged her, and I worked with her for a lot of years, and she's just a great lady that does wonderful things for the company. Ray came in later. I knew him with another company. He was already a leader at that other company. However, he learned the compassionate side that I believe in.
Yes.
More so.
Yes.
So I think they really love me because I believe the girls they had two girls. They were like tiny babies when they came, and now they're graduated college and they're off to work. So I think for me to give them family time to go to the basketball games, to go to their field hockey games, to go up to visit at college. I think that they really respected me, that I gave them the time to have family time and to balance their work. You know, I have a picture, I should have bought it. It's me balancing a glass of wine on top of my head like this, right? And it's all talking about balance and managing time. Yeah. You know, so that's in part of my speech, but you know, I don't have that picture, but you know,
what it brings up for me is that about this idea of leadership, you know, is it something you're born with or something you can develop? It's almost like that many people, they have the seed within them, but they also need someone to grow the seed into a flower.
I totally agree with you. However, there are some people that just want to stay status quo. Yeah. Like a server, for instance. And I think...
And that's okay.
No, I think servers are the heroes.
Yeah.
These people are the heroes of my business. The house cleaning, when I go on the second and third, and they're scrubbing the mirrors, I'm like, they are the heroes. It's not the leaders. We just sit back and make decisions.
Yes. Yeah. And we've all done those jobs.
We've done those jobs. So I really believe they are leaders in their own heart.
Yes.
Because they want a clean hotel.
Yes.
And they're making me proud, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So therefore, can you become, not everybody wants to become a leader, like an ownership like
right. Or a leader of title.
Or give up money like I had to give up money to build this, or to do all of the things that I had to do. People just don't do that, you know, or take risks. Yes. Or negotiate, or do all the other, you know, things that I do. But there's a lot of respect for the dishwasher in there.
Well, and you know that what you brought up about the server and the housekeeper is that, you know, it's a different type of leadership where they are really taking ownership and pride in their work. And
that's exactly what I wanted to say.
And that's also leadership.
I love it.
And it's just not with a title.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I tell them that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I acknowledge them.
Yeah, crucial.
It's crucial.
For sure.
They just want to be heard. They want to be seen.
Yes.
And they want to be acknowledged.
Yes.
That's all.
Absolutely.
You know.
You just spoke a moment ago about, and I'm going off script here, about risk. And I read a little bit of background about how this hotel came to be. What did it take to take that risk for you?
Let me think. I wrote something about that. To me, it was... it started out as negotiations, you know, because, you know, you had to buy the land,
right?
And that was a big thing, you know. So it was very simply, I had a little, this is a funny story, I had a little tiny boat. It was we had rubber sides, and I lived across the harbor from Cruiseport. My house was over there. So in the morning, I would drive over to Cruiseport with my coffee, and at night I would drive back with a glass of wine. Right?
Yeah.
So one night it was a beautiful sunset, so I said, I'll drive out to, you know, the greasy pole right here. So I'm looking at this building that is dilapidated, rat-filled building on the fort, and I said, I need a hotel.
And how nice would it be on the wall? I mean, the location is amazing.
So I talked to the owner of the building. He was willing to sell, but that took a long time. Then I had a lot of opposition because nobody put a hotel in this town. You know, so they wanted, you know, but I have a good relationship with the fishermen.
Yeah.
And they backed me up. But it was still a group of people that didn't want this.
Yeah.
So I was in City Hall for a number of years. I had to go through the zoning board, the planning board, the city council, conservation. I had great lawyers. I had a great team of architects that stood by me, and I just kind of kept my mouth shut. I actually had to say to my counsel, my legal counsel, you know, this is the time that you work and not me, and I have
Right.
to keep my mouth shut, because if I say something, it's going to be in the paper.
Right.
You know?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I just kept my mouth shut, and I put my head down low, and I just kept on working. But it took 6 years to permit this hotel.
Wow.
That's a blessing. At the time, I thought I was going to throw in the towel. Today, it's a blessing because I've changed this design on this hotel every week. We had the pool on the deck, for instance, and then I thought the Speedos are going to be walking through the lobby.
Oh,
you know what I
right.
mean? So
Yeah.
let's get it on the roof.
So smart.
So all of these things were
You had
around.
the time.
And then everything in the back of the house, we have a corridor in the back house. It's sort of like Disney World. So everything
Right.
goes on the street side.
Yeah.
And then all the views of the water off to the guest. The
Right.
ballroom was different. That was on the street. We changed it, pulled that out.
Wow.
Same with the dining room. We changed it to an H shape. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
So everything was changed.
Yeah.
And then I went from more of a modern design to a more elegant nautical design. So in that 6 years, it gave me time to dream about what I really wanted in this hotel.
Right.
It gave me time. So, and I thought it was terrible at the time, but now that I'm sitting here with you, I'm thinking,
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
It
It's
is.
great.
And you probably had, with all your years of experience.
Yes.
And working at other hotels, working in the industry.
Right.
This was an opportunity for you to infuse all of that
Everything.
experience and your ideas and your passions and your heart into it. And I can see that because behind us we have this bookshelf
Yes.
with all blue books. That takes effort
It
to
does.
find books with blue bindings.
It does. It does.
And-
I want to say I did have some help with an interior decorator.
Of course, yes.
However, I did want the bookshelf here, and I did want this. I did pick out this wood, and this was made in Maine by two men that were mill workers. And I started it 2 years before the hotel was built, so they would do it. They would have it in time.
Wow.
And two men did all of this woodwork.
That's
It's
beautiful.
and it's
wood.
beautiful, and it's Maine woodworking, and
But it was clear. Obviously, with a massive project like this, you
Right.
never do it all alone. There's
No.
always a team behind
No.
you. But
Right.
it was clear that you had a vision, and
did.
you can see it in the details of everything
I
from the
know.
moment you walk in. I've only been here for about 2 hours,
Really?
and I could see it
oh, good,
for sure and
good,
feel it
oh,
for
good.
sure.
That is so great,
So I'll move on to our next question. Thank you for sharing that background in the hotel. It really makes it come alive.
Thank you.
What are the successes and failures that have evolved your leadership?
I wrote something down for that. Okay, successes are easy, right? Every day is an success. Just getting up in the morning is a success for me,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And looking at the people and their smiling faces, that to me, that's a success. So my relationship with people and how I treat them, that is my most successful endeavor. And I've said this throughout the podcast, so I don't want to keep on repeating myself. My failure, I had to really think about it. I was going to say nothing. However, if I have to reach inside my soul, it was not spending enough time with my family because I couldn't manage my time well.
Right.
Because I was so busy hiring people,
Yes.
building this, running the other businesses that were still going, you
Yes.
know. And I was also building a biotech at the same time. So if I have to do some self-analysis and affirmations, it would be not spending enough time with my family.
Yes. Well, and I think that, failure might not be the best choice of words. I think it's
Right.
those moments that we learn from and that we get a new perspective on
Right.
things. And I really appreciate you sharing that with our listeners, because there are listeners out there that are in that moment, when their kids are young and everything's at a peak, their career is at a peak, all of that. And like many of the women we will have here this week at the conference.
Right.
And that's an important message to just...
It is. If you could take time, which I didn't, a lot. I mean, I'm doing it now. But if you can take time to smell the roses and look at your kids and go to their games.
And take the moment of pause.
Yes, and take the moment of pause.
Yeah.
Maybe make it home for a dinner. But it's dinner out here, as we are in hospitality. But, just to see if you can, spend more time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you're a busy lady. You are very well respected, and you are so giving and generous with your time into other business initiatives and the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
So at some point, you have to say no, and you have to say yes to things.
Right.
When are those moments? What makes you decide I'm going to use this opportunity? To leverage your leadership and support a cause of some sort.
So that's where I go into negotiation again. The situations that have to be addressed, I think every day, so you make a decision and you stick to it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's a no.
Right. I
don't usually give an explanation for my no. Sometimes very easy. It's very easy for me to say no. Sometimes I say it's not going to work, but I usually say no.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's not a no, but I just feel like, sometimes, this winter was a hard winter. I had to say no quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, you got to do what's right for the business. And you have to, everybody wants the open checkbook, but sometimes you have to just say no.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are limits.
So that's part of being a leader. And that's part of being a woman leader, I think, is to step up. Because if I'm, I don't want to compare. It's easy for a man to flip it and say, we're not going to do this. That's it. Bye-bye.
Right.
A woman, you get questioned.
Yes.
But I don't get questioned.
Yeah.
It might be my age now, I don't know, but I don't get questioned anymore.
Well, it sounds like that you're also very definitive, and you follow through. And
I make decisions easy.
Yeah. And it's like, if, that's one of the things I have to work on as a parent, because my kids will come to me, and I think it applies to work too. They'll come to me and ask me a question 5 times, and I'll say, no, 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 the first 3 times. And then they'll ask me one more time, and I'll say yes.
I know. I did the same thing. I know. Yeah. Can I go outside? Can I go outside? Right. Can I go outside? No, 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 no. Yeah, okay, go outside.
Yes. Well, and what happens then, if you're not definitive, you're not clear, it gives people the message that, well, if they just keep trying, they'll break you down.
Right.
Right? And I think that is a really important tip for leaders, that make a decision, stick with it, follow through, be confident.
Right.
And it may not always be the right decision, but really, any decision is a right decision.
That's right. I never question myself.
No.
No.
You learn from it, even if it wasn't the right direction.
Right.
But
right.
So just to round us off today, what vision would you pursue if you had everything you needed to succeed right now?
I want to tell you, I love that question. That's a great question. Because if I had everything, which I do, I have everything in life I need. My vision, it's kind of what everybody is saying. I don't want guns and shootings in schools anymore. I want our children to be safe.
Yes.
That's my mission. I just think that I can't bear to open the news and see another thing happening with gun violence.
Yeah.
All children deserve a childhood,
Yeah.
It's
absolutely true.
I had a safe, wonderful childhood, great parents. My children did, and now I'm watching.
Yeah.
Now I have a grandchild, and
it's
I'm a little worried,
Yeah.
And of course, I want peace in the world. I don't want any more wars. And this is like crazy stuff, that is in the news. So it's hard for me to watch the news nowadays. But being in hospitality, right? You're going to agree with me on this.
Yes.
So we serve food and beverage, and I let we have family meals 3 times a day, and they have snacks, and they have in the cabinets, and they have snack refrigerators and drinks and everything they need. And everybody can eat anything they want at any time, as much as they want.
Yes.
But I do not want anybody to go hungry in this world. And the other day, this was a prime example. I was walking, and I saw a man walk by me, and I'm thinking, he didn't look too good. I said, I don't know what he's going through in life.
Right.
But I should know.
Right.
And I should help him.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs a meal, and I can bring him into my restaurant and give him a meal.
Oh.
I just think that my compassion for food and beverage, like you and I could walk in the kitchen right now and have a steak, right?
Absolutely.
You know, and I just feel like my mission is to feed people.
Yes.
To feed people.
Yes.
So I work with the Open Door, which gives out food to the poor every day. I work with a lot of missions like that, food pantries. But it's hard to know. You know, we serve at the Grace Center a couple of times a month, which is, the homeless will come in and get their meals and stuff like that. And then at Christmas time, of course, I do the Little Brothers of St. Francis. They go out to the people that will not go into shelters, that will stay on the benches in the freezing cold, and they give them the peanut butter and jellies and and all that. So I do a lot with food and beverage, a lot of hungry people, and that is. Oops, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
That's all right. Sorry. So if I had to do anything in my lifetime, I'm sorry, is that okay?
Yeah, no
problem. It would be to feed the world.
Yes.
You know, if I had all the means in my pocket, that's what I would do. And what I wish for now too is my children and my grandchildren to have a healthy and happy life. And then I am on my 3rd marriage. I want love and growth and flourish, and I want to have a great 3rd act.
Yes.
So I'm old enough to say that, and I feel like that's my dream.
Yes.
To feed the world.
That is, what I take away from that is that as leaders, it's also using our agency and the gifts that we've been given to give back to other people.
Right.
And I love how you use your passion for hospitality and food and beverage to live and breathe that purpose.
Right.
That's just, I'm getting goosebumps right now as we're talking.
I know.
That's really amazing, and I'm so inspired by that. And as someone who's mid-career, and my husband and I, we just actually signed with Olympia Companies to operate our hotel.
Yeah.
So it's going to give us the time to think about our next chapter and how we can give back.
And I just want to, I don't want to tell you anything. I just want to suggest to you, I didn't start out with giving up this big food,
Right.
I started out small, like doing one meal a week at the food pantry. And I did it myself. Yeah. I would go over there and cook it myself. So I started small, and then started doing 2 days a week, and then started donating food, and then started, like I would donate a truck from Cisco or something, So you can start out like tiny.
Exactly.
And then in your budget, and then believe it or not, the less you give, the more you give.
Yes. And
it grows.
Right. And because of the example you're setting, but also it's not just about the money, it's about the time, the energy, and the attention that you're bringing to the topic, and how important it is, for sure.
But I'm so glad you're in the hospitality business, because I think the travelers that come to our hotels and everything, they see it, they learn it, you know what I mean? And even if they don't have the greatest experience, it's like, we can recover them.
Right.
We can make them happy. It's easy to do, and it's great to give back to the community.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think that's one of our most central roles as hospitality, especially as a family-owned hotel in our community.
Right.
Being a resource for the community is really important to us.
Good.
Well, I just want to thank you so much. This has been such a gift. Actually, today is my birthday.
Happy birthday!
And it is such a gift.
I hope you're going to have dinner here.
Stay over. Yes, we are going to be here.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Oh, that's great. We'll take really good care of you.
Thank you. But it's such a gift, and to speak with someone of your experience and with all your stories and wisdom. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to tell our audience today about the hotel, or?
Not really. I just welcome to come anytime and ask for me, and I would love to meet people. Also, if you want to come back, I would love to have you.
Oh, thank you.
I think it's great what you're doing.
Thank you.
You're going to do great with this blog.
I appreciate it.
And then get in touch with Jeannie, because she's the queen of communications. You know what I mean? Isn't she great?
Is.
She tells me where I have to be every second of every day.
I've heard so many great things about her, and I look forward to getting to know her over the next couple of days.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, Sheree O'Reilly. This is the Travel Leader Podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.